going to take a look at a meal cold weather, or MCW. This is the second one that I've had. First one being the scrambled eggs and bacon. There's already a video for this one up. And these two were very generously sent to me by one of my subscribers, XX Corruptionable. And I definitely want to say thank you to XX Corruptionable. I really appreciated the opportunity to look at these. Now, an MCW is somewhat similar to an MRE, beyond the white versus brown packaging, of course. But the main difference is the difference in the name, MRE versus MCW. An MRE is a meal ready to eat. The key being that everything in here, with the exception of drink mixes that need water, you can just pull it right out of here and eat it as is. It doesn't necessarily have to be heated. Meal cold weather is designed to give soldiers the same kind of nutrition as an MRE, but an environment where a regular MRE entree, like this one, would freeze, and making this not very palatable, I would imagine. Now, in the old days, MREs did come sometimes with some freeze-dried components. This one here is a beef patty from an MRE from the 80s, but they have improved a lot over the years, and now everything in there, there's nothing you need to reconstitute. It's all literally ready to eat. This MCW is menu number 7, beef stew. It was made by the MRE Packaging Company, one of the 3 companies that produce MREs for the government. This one is also MRE. This one has a date code of 5046, meaning it was packaged on the 46th day of 2005. So there's quite a few years on it. Let's see what's inside of this one. This is the inner plastic bag in here. The bag has a date code on it too, also 5046. We have freeze-dried beef stew. So you can see how they deal with the freezing environments that would not be good for a regular MRE entree. Of course, this does make it less convenient because in order to eat this, you do have to have access to not only hot water, but you also have to have hot water. And we have pound cake, beaten up a little bit here, but it's just a regular MRE pound cake. Oatmeal cookie, chocolate flavored coating. Tootsie Rolls, which is interesting. Usually they have it in the regular MREs, they just call them chocolate toffee rolls. They don't usually use the brand name. We have an accessory pack. What is this green gum in the MCWs? Usually it's white or red, I believe, in regular MREs. I don't know if it's spearmint instead of peppermint or whatever. But the gum. This one has, it's interesting, it has 2 spiced ciders. Usually regular MREs only have 1 drink mix in the accessory pack. Actually it has 3. It has 3 drinks. 2 spiced ciders, and it has the instant coffee, with non-dairy creamer, and sugar. Bottled Tabasco sauce, which I don't think we'll be using. Looks like that's not going to be going anywhere. Petrified. MRE matches, toilet paper, and moist towelette. Interestingly enough, there's no salt and pepper in the regular brown MRE spoon. So as you can see, there's not a ton of food in this meal. You have the beef stew, which is, you can see it's this much, and you add 16 ounces of water, so you actually add quite a bit of water to this. You know, the scrambled eggs came with the scrambled eggs and bacon, and also oatmeal, which you add water to. And this one, the only food you need to add water to is the beef stew. It does have 3 drinks, the 2 spice ciders, which each take 6 ounces of water, and the instant coffee, which also takes 6 ounces of water. And everything else is pretty much ready to eat. And you can also see that the packaging of most of the components inside is also white, just like the outer bag. And I'll go ahead and prepare the beef stew. While I don't exactly know how soldiers out in the field in Arctic conditions would expect it to get hot water, other than if they are lucky enough to be able to start a fire or have a little camp stove, I have no doubt that they would appreciate a warm meal. So this one, I'm going to take this corner off here apparently. It says to add 16 ounces of hot water and let it wait for 10 minutes. Interesting, it says hot water may be added in stages to keep food hot. So how important the hot factor is. Looks like I didn't tear it quite down far enough. I managed to not get it down past the little seal here. So I'll have to you know what? I'm just going to open this whole thing up because I'm going to need to stir it too. We'll do that about 10 minutes to reconstitute, and we'll check out what else we have in that meal. Here's the Tootsie Rolls. You have 4 Tootsie Rolls. I think generally you see 2 in an MRE, so it's kind of giving you a little bit more stuff in it, I guess. And the pound cake. A little worse for wear, but I'm sure it'll taste fine. And the oatmeal cookie, chocolate flavored coating. This is very similar to stuff you used to see in old MREs, a cookie or a brownie covered in chocolate. These are prized things back then. That's about it for actual food items. I think what we'll do is we'll make up some of the instant coffee. And the sugar. And the creamer. I'm not actually a coffee drinker myself, so not the best judge about the taste quality of the coffee. You add 6 ounces of water, hot water. And there's your coffee. And hopefully some of these little bits will dissolve. And you're also going to try out the spice cider. Let's take 6 ounces of cold water. So all that's left now is the beef stew. And as the beef stew, still very hot, I was lucky that I could use boiling water instead of just plain old hot water. It's pretty heavy. It's a good amount of food in there. I hope it's had time to reconstitute. And obviously you could eat this right out of the bag. That wouldn't be any problem. But for the sake of review, I'm going to take a closer look at it. This is a lot of food. A regular MRE entree is usually 8 ounces. Of the amount of beef stew in here, we added 16 ounces of water to that. So you can see I got a good pile of it on the plate there, and there's still quite a few ounces left in there. Now let's try this out. It's definitely a thick and hearty stew. You can see you get the beef in there, potatoes, carrots, peas, and the sauce is it's not very liquid. It's not like a soup. I mean, it is a stew, and it's very thick. It's like a hearty meal for somebody in the Arctic. Tastes good. I think you can see a little bit here where I didn't do a very good job of mixing. A little bit of dry stuff there. I could have stirred it up a little bit better. That part is not good, but that was my fault. As far as the part that is reconstituted, it's quite good. The beef seems to be, considering that this is reconstituted, I'm not going to complain too much. But it does seem to be a little bit tough, a little bit rubbery. Potatoes reconstituted nicely. And carrots, there's a little bit of crunch, but it tastes like feels like a carrot crunch as opposed to a freeze-dried crunch. Yeah, it's very good. Give the coffee a try. It's only lukewarm at this point. It's instant coffee. Not much to say about that. Like I said, I don't drink coffee in general, so I don't have too much of an opinion on it. Try this pound cake. Considering this is about 8 years old, it's pretty moist. Well, it's not exactly moist, but it doesn't seem like it's all dried up. It tastes fresh. Sweet, very tasty. Try the oatmeal cookie. It's quite good. The oatmeal part is crunchy, and then the chocolate gives a little bit of sweetness. I know what to expect from a Tootsie Roll, but we'll give that a look, see how it is after 8 or so years. Actually we're closing in on 9 years now. 9-year-old Tootsie Roll looks pretty much the same as a day-old Tootsie Roll. Maybe a little bit harder to chew. Try the spice cider. It's always a good drink. Might be slightly off being 9 years old, but I would still drink it if I was thirsty. That's about it for this meal. There's not a lot of components, but with this 16 ounces of beef stew, it's a lot of food. I can show you just how much. This stuff on the bottom I didn't mix good enough. So if you happen to find yourself with one of these, make sure you do a good job of mixing it. Otherwise the bottom is going to be like, it's kind of like a stuffing mix. And a little bit of the mostly dry part that didn't reconstitute. Like I said, it's very much like a stuffing mix. Still edible though. This is the Meal Cold Weather, MCW. Menu number 7, beef stew.